Welcome back, everybody. It is just before a big holiday, and sometimes you get a lot of news. And today, we ended up getting a big piece of news. JuJu Smith-Schuster is back at practice. What does that mean? This is a significant concussion protocol update because it's kind of one of the last steps. You got to get on the practice field. You got to get out there, show that you can run around, survive the pounding of moving up and down the field. You even get to do a little bit of contact, not direct contact. It's not 11 on 11 tackling drills or anything. But it does prove to the protocol that you are able to return. This is a big step. I didn't expect him to get to this point on Wednesday. I thought maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, if there was an outside chance that JuJu Smith-Schuster could make it back. This looks like it's more and more of a possibility. We'll have an update. And I know it's a holiday here, so I wanted to jump on and give you some instant reaction before we get to the weekend, because he has a chance then to progress through the Thanksgiving holiday and be ready to go. This is RGR Football. If you don't know me, I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of this channel and NFL 33, as well as the host at Locked On Chiefs and Locked On NFL Draft. A lot of content going on. This JuJu Smith-Schuster news is super big because we saw what they were able to do without him. And now you add that on top of another weapon back in the fold. And honestly, JuJu's a guy that's been on a roll. So it's really great to see him back. And it doesn't mean he's going to play. There's a possibility maybe that they don't even feel they need him to play, because it is official now that Matt Stafford's not going to play for the Rams. They cut Darrell Henderson. It's a search committee for who's going to catch passes out there. Allen Robinson is one option. There's not a ton else going on out there. So I think that what this means is there is a possibility that he could progress through the protocol and still not play because they may feel they don't need him. We have Skyy Moore emerging after last week. In fact, in about 2 hours, you're going to see Dan's film room this week is all on Skyy Moore. You don't want to miss that. We have a cut-up of L'Jarius Sneed snaps coming for you as well. That will be tomorrow. Something to entertain you for like 3 minutes on a holiday. We figured we'd put it out and you guys would dig to see it. So welcome, everybody, for jumping in here. Daryl, Gary, nice to see you guys. This is a big update, but it's not just JuJu. JuJu's the head of the class, of course, but not only him. And so what else happened today? A couple of big things is that Kadarius Toney is still out, not going to practice. Is the hamstring soft tissue. So that leads itself towards being maybe a little bit less of what we're hoping for to see from him. Again, with all the other weapons that we saw last week, I think that the Chiefs are going to feel pretty confident in this. I got to tell you, in the end, it doesn't really matter because the matchup against the Rams is about, I guess his name is Bryce Perkins, a guy I never even watched film on. That tells you how far down the depth chart he is to actually be available and be the guy who's going to helm the Rams offense against the Chiefs. So there's updates, but then there's updates that really matter. And so that brings us to the big one. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is now going to IR. That's significant. That means a couple of things. One, it severely limits his ability to make a big enough impression to get himself back in Kansas City. I think this is the beginning of the end, let's call it. He still has something that he could bring back. I was hoping he was going to be able to fight through that and really give a 1-2 punch that remained in effect for him and Isaiah Pacheco. But now it's going to be Pacheco as the starter. It's not going to be much filtering in beyond that. Jared McKinnon should be able to go. This also means an elevation for Ronald Jones. I expect that to come on game day. We'll find out here later in the weekend. And that's great because now it gives you an opportunity against a team that is beat up and wounded to kind of pepper him in, let him get on a roll. So I expect that if the Chiefs do what I think they will do, their offense should be pretty efficient in the first 15. They should get up. They should be able to come back, run a little bit more, continue to show that balance, and get up a little bit more on an offense in the Rams side that isn't able to keep up. When it comes to the second half, maybe you've had a couple of touches for Jones at that point, but I think the second half will allow them to get out to enough of a lead where maybe they want to focus on the run game. And then they can focus on Ronald Jones and see what they have in him and let him eat a little bit. I think that's key because if he gets enough touches to get on a bit of a roll, then you can see what he has right now. He should be well rested. He should be super healthy. And if he gets, say, 12 touches, you can get an idea of what he can bring to this offense right now in the tail end of the regular season, and maybe what he can give you for the playoffs. It doesn't have to be what it was back in camp. It should be new. It should be updated, be something different that should go on. I'm hoping to see that as well. The big one that I'm excited about is they took it all the way up to the wire, and the Chiefs have activated Lucas Niang. Now, this is a big deal because this changes the complexion, not necessarily this week, but for the rest of the season if he's able to get back out there. Welcome in, everybody. Lego, I see you have a question. I will get to you here in a minute. Hope you guys are doing good and hope you're ready for Turkey Day, because I certainly am. So I wanted to get this out to you guys today just because it's the last news that we're going to have. Tomorrow I will be otherwise occupied. So everything that we've pre-recorded for you for tomorrow for your viewing pleasure in and amongst the other football games, that's all going to be out, but I'm not going to be live tomorrow. So wanted to hit you with this right here. But this thing with Lucas Niang, this is right about when I said when the injury happened, it would be about his area to return. Because it's such a significant injury, I'd hope that the bye week was going to be where he could start practicing. Now, the NFL went and screwed that up because they gave the Chiefs an early bye week, something they haven't had in a number of years. So that kind of went out the window. And it was, hey, can he get back by week 10? Can he get back now by week 12? And they took the window all the way up. They gave him as much time to practice and move around before they had to activate him. Now he's there. What does he get? How does he look? It's about volume. It's about being in football shape. It's about being able to sustain. I don't know that he's ready for that. But what I hope is right now, he has the potential to be the best right tackle on this roster. He still has that. It's all about the injury recovery. Is he truly ready to go? We're going to find out. What I'd like to see this game curtail for him would be Wiley starting and him coming in again in the later half, maybe fourth quarter. I expect the Chiefs to have a comfortable lead at that point and hope that he can get some of the rust knocked off. See how he moves. See how he feels moving. Because I think for a significant injury like this, it's going to be one step forward and that didn't feel, we're going to come back a little bit, probably take another step forward, that kind of thing. He's going to have some time and some back and forth before Lucas Niang is ready to take his job back. Hopefully that still happens. There's no guarantees, but hopefully he can get to that point where he takes his job back. That's going to be good for the offense, good for the team, and good for Lucas. So everybody should be pulling that direction. I firmly feel that he has that potential. I haven't been able to see anything of his movement skills yet. We're going to find that out whenever we can. Hopefully it's this weekend. So don't look for an all-in jump back into a starting role for Lucas Niang. Look for him to get a couple of reps and see where he's at. Lot going on there, but I'm pretty excited about that because Lucas can help this team be a better offense in the postseason than it's been in the regular season if he can get all the way back. Now, I do see there's a couple of questions. We're going to get to those real quick just because you know me. I love answering questions. What do you got, Lego? So you're saying that JuJu, that we keep JuJu and Toney out to keep them safe and let them get as close to full health as they can for the playoffs and for the Bengals. The Bengals have enough firepower that on any given Sunday, they can raise their level to the point where they could push the Chiefs. We saw Mixon have, a 6-score game? We've seen Joe Burrow go off multiple times this year. So it's always in the back of your head that if the Bengals are pushed, they can raise their level. I think that's what you want to save it for, just to make sure that, hey, by the way, you guys got us a couple times last year. We're not letting you creep back in this year. So that's what I'm looking for that, just to have them both available so that they are in good shape and you can have that as an option. Doesn't mean you got to start them. Doesn't mean they have to play a ton of time. I really like what we saw from Skyy. Dan's going to break down what we saw from Skyy as well as a couple of the other guys that really affected the passing scheme in his film room that's going to be out in a couple of hours. So make sure you get back here for that. But for me, it's the first step forward in what I think is a lot of high-quality potential for Skyy Moore. And this week's going to be key. If he can step on the gas a little bit more, get a little bit more attention, I think that's really going to catapult Skyy as well. So you don't want to take away from that with Toney and JuJu unless you have to. That's where I'm at with that, Lego, and I appreciate that. Red, appreciate you. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, especially you guys. And hey, Drunken, I agree. I hope that he can live up to it. Lego, no word on Blake Bell that I have seen or heard from any of the beat reporters. So I'm hanging out waiting. Could we work Lucas into goal line packages just to knock the rust off? I don't know about goal line. That requires a lot of force, and there's a lot of bodies diving at ankles and knees at that kind of play. So I'd rather he not be in on goal line. I'd rather he be in a nice we're going to run the ball a little bit, some outside zone, things that rely on his athleticism and not his power, and doesn't put him necessarily into a pile. That's what I'm looking for Lucas Niang. Let's see. Third tackle kind of thing. Yeah, that could work. Let's see. Jonathan asked about Kennard. No update on Kennard. Clearly, this is a redshirt year for him. I don't think he's going to get activated at any point for a game day roster. So that's okay. That's pretty much kind of par for the course is what we expected, and that's going to be fine. Cody, is the All 22 available for public viewing? If so, where can you access? Love the show. Thanks, Cody. Yeah, you can get it with NFL Plus. That's the way that you get access to it. It is a paid service, but you can get in there. Anybody can watch it. We just watch it and break it down for everyone, so you don't have to. Cali Chief, thanks for the support. Appreciate you, buddy. Every day to keep up the good work. Thank you. I thought there was maybe a question there, but cheers to you and happy Thanksgiving. Let's see. Anybody else have a question? KL, how are you? Where does the young CBs improve on to solidify themselves for the postseason? It's a couple of things. For Jalen Watson, it's about being quicker on the trigger. He was great early. I think as the season went on, he's been a little bit more, not hesitant, but a second move has gotten him. He's not quite as deliberate in how he's rerouting guys, at least from my view. And for Josh Williams, it's still about playing through the end of the rep, never giving up on that. When you think you have it, you don't. He did it again last weekend where that one catch, he just kind of quit on the play, forgetting that it's not college anymore. And a guy can get up unless you hit him, unless you touch him down. So there's still that mental piece coming along for Josh Williams. If he can improve on that, I think physically he's showing that he can be in the game. So there's a little bit there. For McDuffie, it's just about concentration breaking down. The only gap in his game that I've seen since he came back is a couple of missed tackles. Normal for a rookie player. He didn't miss many tackles in college, so I think he'll get that corrected. It's just making that commitment a little bit more. I think he's a little more concerned about where he's supposed to be in terms of coverage, and he'll get back to that. Nothing, Bernard, thanks for the question. Nothing on Thornhill. Not on the injury report that we are aware of at this point. It hasn't been released officially, but from what I've heard, he's not on it. So he should be recovered and ready to go. As far as I understand, no problem with Juan Thornhill. Powell, don't know what the situation will be there. It'll depend on JuJu and how many guys are back. So you can cross your fingers. I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see. So big takeaways is they're losing a couple of guys, but guys that are honestly not being relied on right now. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not being relied on because of Pacheco. Kadarius Toney's not being relied on because he's so new. Like you haven't built game plans around him. It's been nice to have. It's been additional yardage, additional catches. Clearly, he brings a spark. He's a spark guy. That's the way it's going to be. But it's not something that you had planned on in your game planning that you had to have. So getting JuJu back is much more important to the game planning and the ability of the offense than Kadarius is. Kadarius will grow into that role, but it's not right immediate now. I really plan on Kadarius being a bigger weapon come playoffs. And maybe this even helps because you're not putting reps or concepts with him in it on film. That protects that and protects other teams from hunting down what you want to do with them. Any other questions? Kando, no update on him either. I honestly don't expect him to be back at this point. If he hasn't been able to claw back, I just don't see it happening. I think Herring has certainly surpassed him. Excuse me. And I actually expect Herring to make a push forward as we see some of the other young guys come on, fight for playing time, et cetera, next season. So I'm happy for this. Yeah, if Ross can get healthy, it's a really nice addition. So it's going to be that story, though. And honestly, his whole career is going to be that story is can he stay healthy? We'll see what happens. He has a lot of upside still. Let's see if he can get there. Checo's vision and cover seem to be improving with the carries. Is 15, 18 carries a reasonable expectation from Andy? I hope so. It should be something on a given week. I'm going to go check real quick because I want to say it was right about that last week. And if you can get that repeatedly, it's not just in the game, it's repeating it so that he understands how much of a feel he's going to get. I think that helps a back, particularly like Pacheco, get there as well. So if I take a look, it was 15 carries. I think Pacheco got a target as well. Let me verify that. No, actually, he did not. I was wrong. So it was McKinnon that got that target. So 15 carries for him, 6 for McKinnon last week, and then Clyde had a couple. So take those from Clyde, and maybe it turns into Rojo. But I think if you can get 12 to 18 carries for Pacheco. I think that just helps him improve. So even if it doesn't get to the 15 point, even 12, I think is going to be good. Let's see. Any possibilities it could be a trap game? Sure, Bernard. I mean, anytime you let your guard down, it could definitely be that. So we will figure that out when they get there. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Trish. Thanks for being on with us. Appreciate it. I know it's a little weird this time of day. Should I be worried about Justin Reed? Should keep an eye on him. I'm not worried yet. He definitely has not lived up to what I had hoped for him. So let's see how he plays. Long season. Still got 7 regular season games and then 4 games in the postseason if everything works out. Well, 3 games in the postseason if everything works out. Ryan, do you see that Chris Jones have a huge game? I actually think that he can. I don't think that they have the blockers to handle him. And let's be honest. This is something I'm going to talk about in a short here coming up. Chris Jones is the best D-tackle pass rusher in this league. That's it. That's real. Aaron Donald is now chasing Chris Jones in terms of pass rush. It's not as close as we thought it was going to be. And I think as the season goes on, Chris Jones is going to pull away even more. So let's hope that he can have a big game this one. So we're going to see what happens. Any more updates that are super huge, I'll try to jump back in. So be here for Friday where we have the game plan and the primer. And if there's any new updates to these injuries, I'll have something for you that day. Have a great holiday. Enjoy your turkey day. I'm going to be watching ball games. I hope that you are. Gonna enjoy it. Make sure you check the channel because we got a couple of neat little short kind of videos for you. Nothing that'll take a ton of time away from your family, but you might want to see them, especially the Sneed one. Really looking forward to that. So cheers to you guys. Let's see. One more question, I believe. Let's see. How often we talk about QB versus QB. Will playing opposite Donald give Jones a little drive? Yeah, hey, I hope so. It is a chance in one ball game, in one telecast, to set yourself apart, to say, hey, yeah, I really am that good. So I hope that Chris takes that opportunity for sure. Let's see here. Tyler, I did not see that report. Let me verify that before we go on. Because what I was told is that he was a full go today. But you are right. The Chiefs lifted him as a calf and a limited. He's the only limited here. Kadarius didn't go. Joe Toney didn't go either. That's an ankle. But that's from like a couple weeks ago where he rolled it. So that still doesn't concern me about Juan that much. I think he's going to be okay. Thank you for updating me, though, Tyler, because I hadn't seen the official report yet. So gracias. Has Mike Dana earned a bag? No. Mike Dana's earned a second contract. It's not going to be outrageous. It will be a little bit more on par plus inflation of what Derek Nottie got as a second contract, but it's not going to be super huge. He's going to continue to be a role player, and I think he's a good one. I'm really glad that they have him. Thank you, Bernard. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Lions could beat the Bills tomorrow if all goes well. That's an absolute possible outcome there, Caroline. Appreciate you bringing that up. That's going to be fun. Robert, you are welcome. Thanks for watching this, you guys. Middle of a Wednesday, it's a little bit weird, but hey, be back here in a couple of hours for Dan's Film Room on Skyy Moore and the rest of the offense, who stood out and who did the big things. I think you guys are going to dig that. It's a good one this week. So take care. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you on Friday. And then, of course, post-game breakdown after the ball game on Sunday. Have a good one. See ya.